husband cheated on me, so I cheated on him too.
Eye for an eye.
Trigger warning, emotional abuse. About 8 months ago, I, 36 female, found out my husband, 33 male, was cheating on me.
How'd you find out?
He's a musician and very handsome, so of course, in bar gigs, the women like him. We have a 6-year-old daughter. Ugh.
Dude.
So many nights I can't go watch him play. I had my suspicions as he started coming home much later than normal or coming back the next day if he drank too much. But my suspicions weren't confirmed until a woman came pounding on my door. One of the women he was cheating with, there were 3 women, turned out to be a stalker.
Oh, good for your case.
Yeah, at least you can find out from that. By the way, this comes from Sad Independent 7332, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
I'm Dakota.
And OP says she slashed his tires and he now has a restraining order. If he was from the US like me and a citizen, I would have divorced him already, but I don't want my daughter not having a father. She loves him very much, and aside from cheating on and disrespecting her mother, he treats our daughter like she's his world. I want him out, but without me, he's likely going to be thrown out of the country. In the beginning, I wanted to fix this. He is trying to be better, showering me with affection, being very apologetic. He even stopped playing live shows and took a musical engineer's job to get away from the life a little. But it all became too much for me, and I couldn't forget or forgive what happened. For 4 months, I didn't tell a soul about what he did. I didn't want to look like a fool and didn't want our family living in the shadow of this forever, so I kept it between us. Needing to talk, I contacted an old friend of mine who I only knew from the internet and didn't know anyone in my circle. We've been friends for a decade and met as a part of a creative online community. The connection I have with this man, we're like soulmates. And I could talk to him all day, every day, but it was never romantic. I knew he was divorced and wanted to both vent and ask his advice on how to proceed with mine or what he would do in my shoes.
Sounds more like a crush. I don't know if you guys are actually soulmates.
Yeah. He was my shoulder to cry on and was very supportive of me and recommended things like marriage counseling or talking to my family.
Oh, nice.
He was under the impression that I wanted to remain married, so he spent about a month or so trying to help me fix my marriage. I never told my husband any of this. After a couple of months, I and my friend, 37 male, were talking on a daily basis, and I found myself in constant contact with him. Out to dinner with my family, I'm still texting him. Still nothing spicy or romantic. My husband's still trying to fix things, but at this point, it just feels like he's some stranger who lives in my house. I'm the breadwinner. I started having feelings for my friend.
Uh-oh.
Ruh-roh. Then one day, my friend mentioned he'll be near my town to see family and offered to take my family out to dinner.
I think you guys could just go to dinner, but I'm also kind of against that too.
Yeah, Opie's like, oh, my daughter's, she's at her friend's house. Oh, my husband, he's gone. I guess it's just us. He intended to take me.
Oh, no, the power's out. We just got candles everywhere.
Oh no, the window was open. All those rose petals just blew in onto the bed.
Whoa, why is there just like a trail going to my bedroom? We should follow it.
Oh no, this woman broke into our house.
She's playing the violin. He intended to take me, my daughter, and my husband out, and that's when I told my first lie. I didn't want my husband around because I don't ever really want him around, but just smile pretty and act like I'm okay for my daughter's sake. I told my friend my husband took my daughter somewhere else that evening and that I would meet him for dinner myself. Everything escalated so quickly. In the span of 45 minutes, we went from entirely platonic friends who never so much as flirted with each other to us having spicy sleep for a while.
Oh.
I then ugly cried in his arms.
That is wild. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that one before?
No.
Whoa.
For another hour, as it felt like everything that happened kind of crashed onto me all at once. Not to mention the guilt for what I did, because I did not want to be the sort of person who cheats like this. I love my friend. I have stronger feelings for him than I have had for any other man in my life. I know I need to end my marriage. It'll only get more toxic from here if things continue. But my God, is this a mess? How do I even start getting out of this? And there are some comments and an update.
Yeah.
But what does OP do?
Step number 1, find a divorce lawyer.
I don't know. If you really don't want to divorce him because you want him to have a relationship with your daughter, then just talk to him and be like, hey, I don't want to divorce you because I want you to be able to stay here, but effectively we are separated.
Yep.
We are not together. I'm going to pursue other relationships. You can pursue other relationships, but we're not together. That's what you should have done. And that's what you can still do.
Yeah.
I think those are your options. It's either divorce or separation. Comment 1. Your friend doesn't love you. He got what he wanted. You came to him emotionally hurt and he knew what to say to still pretend to be a friend, but get in your pants. You did the same thing your husband did. Do yourself a favor and get divorced. Drop the affair partner friend and take care of your mental needs. Your husband cheating on you is bad, but do you really think having a friend who will F a married woman is better? Don't delude yourself. OP says he wouldn't have effed me if I hadn't thrown myself at him. I am in the wrong, he to a lesser extent, but he didn't manipulate me. When we met in person, I wanted him when I saw him. He kept the conversation upbeat and we chatted about our kids. Not once did he flirt with me that night or any other night. When we left the place, I grabbed his hand, and when we got to the car, I started other stuff. I asked him if he wanted to get to a place, and only then did he go along with what I wanted. A lot of people are acting like he preyed on me. If anything, it was the other way around, and for that I feel guilty. I love him and I think he loves me.
Oh no. Girl.
Let's slow down. Let's slow down, girl. Let's slow down.
Okay.
You met him once.
I have some questions. After the deed was done, did you guys cuddle?
Yeah, good questions. But I mean, even then, it's no guarantee.
After the deed was done, did he get you dessert or any other like complimentary snacks?
Did he get you water?
There we
Did
go.
he get you water?
Were you hydrated after you went brain?
Comment 2. He's a piece of crap for cheating. Why are you stooping to his level? His cheating doesn't even out or justify your own behavior. Now you're both crap people.
Yep.
Comment 3 says your husband is a big boy. He can figure it out. Why stay and be unhappy? You also need to be honest and tell your friend everything and get out of your marriage. Your husband had multiple women from experience that won't change in the long run. Eventually, the trying will stop and he'll go back. So be happy. Cheating is never okay, so be honest. OP says, my friend knows everything now. He was the one I leaned on for all of this when I couldn't take it anymore. He was even scouting marriage counselors in my area and was actively talking about me getting therapy, as that is how he got through his divorce. When we met for dinner, it was supposed to be as friends. He'd invited my husband too and daughter. The way he was talking, he wanted to be something like a family friend. He's just such a handsome and good man. I felt safe with him. He'd have never done any of this if I didn't get him started up. I'm also aware my husband will cheat again. More and more, I think he only married me to become legal.
Oh.
I'm not nearly as attractive as his mistresses, which depresses me even more. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. And there is an update.
Oh.
Yeah, divorce.
Oh.
Divorce, separate. I don't know. You need to end this somehow.
It kind of sucks because you got used by your ex.
Yeah.
He used you so he could stay in the country, and that was his only way. He didn't really have any love for you. You gotta separate.
You gotta. At the very least, you have to separate, like, pronto. ASAP.
Sophia.
Yes.
If you saw someone in a band,
Yeah.
are you more like, oh, I'm gonna take the singer home, oh, I'm gonna take the guitarist home? Who are you taking home?
What about the drummer?
I was asking her that.
Always
You left
the
out
drummer.
that you can't have a band without a drummer.
You can't have a band
I
without
know
a drummer.
that. I was wanting her to say that.
And I said the drummer. I'm taking the drummer. Update. So the spookiest part of my Halloween was being awkwardly confronted by my husband after my daughter went to sleep. He asked me about my affair partner and how long I'd been talking to him. He didn't ask in a forceful way, but sort of an awkward, please be truthful kind of way. I told him that I contacted him because he was an old friend and I needed someone outside our regular circle of family and friends to discuss his infidelity. So a rumor mill wouldn't get going. In fairness, that part was 100% true. He was slowly working his way up to an accusation, so I just flat out told him that I slept with my affair partner.
Oh.
Yeah. He asked me if I loved affair partner, and I told him I did. He asked me if I still loved him at all. I broke down crying and told him that I can't anymore, that he was the perfect man for me, but after what he did to us, I just can't look at him the same way again. That I thought his judgment was better than what it is. I did then apologize for what I did and said my own judgment has been compromised. He said that he still loves me and he's back to saying that he just got caught up in the moment with these women, which is ridiculous because it went on for months. He then got angry and said if I had to get revenge and sleep with more men to even the score, then I could, but that it had to stop and that we needed to seek therapy together.
Oh, wow.
I told him I would rather be divorced or at least separated until his immigration status is settled and then divorce, which looks like what's going to happen. But you know what's going to happen. You guys are going to listen to full episodes with stories just like this, just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
When you're the cheater fighting an uphill battle with these demands, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, you can't just be like, we need to go to therapy. It's like, no, we're done, dude. We're done. OP, I feel like, understands that she did something wrong. And she's like, yeah, and that's why we need to leave each other, because this isn't working.
This guy's going to feel these emotions. He's going to be hurt, even though he did the wrong thing.
Yeah.
He still looks at you as if you are in a monogamous relationship, and this is just what's happening on the side. So he's going to have those.
Because OP said that they would work through it, but you couldn't. You can't. So don't try anymore.
Even if she said that they wouldn't work through it, he's still going to feel those feelings. Inevitably.
But there's a little bit left. So he's now staying in the basement guest room. I'm in my normal bedroom, and the separation has begun. I'm going to help him with his immigration status, as despite my anger, I'd rather not think about my friend of all these years living in the conditions he used to, or worse, my daughter visiting there and getting kidnapped or something. So I will do him this final favor, and we will go our separate ways. I contacted my affair partner to tell him that he and I ought to slow things down for the foreseeable future until all of this can be ironed out. But he was only going to be in town for a couple more days, so we went out and I let him do his thing. Anyway, that's about it.
Dude, that's just
What do
a
you mean?
wild thing to say. Hey,
I let him do his thing.
we ought to slow things down.
We ought to slow things down.
You know what his
but
thing is,
I
right?
let him do his thing. Drumming, that's his thing.
Whoa, I wasn't going to say that about him. His things may go brain, but drumming.
Oh,
Dang.
I didn't even
Is that,
say
what you call,
that.
is that what kids call it these days? Drum-a-dum-dum?
Drum-a-dum.
I think my husband's friendship with his coworker is an emotional affair.
Then you should put a stop to it.
My husband and I have been married for 2 years, known each other for 4. We have an 11-month-old daughter. Our relationship is great. We've been loving our experience as parents. There's just been an issue that I thought I had resolved, but my husband's behavior is making me think I went about it in an a-hole-ish way. By the way, this comes from Acceptable Crab 6040, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Riley.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
And OP says, around December of last year, he had referred a woman he knew from his college days. I asked him back then if they'd been close friends. He had said they were kind of friends, but not close enough to make plans to hang out together, but close enough that they'd hang out together if they saw each other. I was like totally fine with that, obviously. Anyway, she got a job and works in his office, fortunately, in a different team. Why is that, OP? Their friendship seemed to have been blossoming again, which is fine, although it had been intruding into his time at home. Often he'd get texts and a smile and respond, and it would be from her. Well, I'd casually ask what she said, and it wouldn't be anything scandalous, sometimes a shared reference from their college life.
Remember those times when we were sleeping together in college? Those were the days.
I miss those days. Only we could go back.
And OP's like, ha ha
He took me to a restaurant near his office once as a special night out.
Ooh.
And midway through, I learned he'd been here before with her.
Ooh. You're just taking me to the spots you've taken her to?
That's wild. We were about to argue, but he'd said it was just lunch. And I also didn't want to ruin our night out. But that's when I really started side-eyeing it. And then finally, when I was going through his phone for a number that he keeps in his contacts, she responded to him. And I just clicked on the notification and read some messages. She was complaining about the lack of luck on Tinder and was going off about the kind of guy she was looking for. And now I don't really fully think she was making a pass, but some things just hit too close to home for me. I told him about what I read. He didn't mind the reading. We both are very open with our phones to each other. He was just like, what's the issue? I said the kind of conversations and the frequency which they were happening since they knew each other at work, went for lunch together, then had these kind of sex at home. It had become an emotional affair, and he needed to cut her off. He looked like I'd slapped him. He argued back, really stressing the affair part that I'd said. I show him how stressed this was making me, and I needed all this communication outside of work to be stopped, and later said at least it has to be toned down significantly. He did agree to it, but made it clear how wrong I was calling it an emotional affair.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a big accusation to make.
I feel good about this because usually when people steal,
Yeah.
if you accuse someone of stealing, they're going to cuss you out,
Yeah.
call you all the names. But if you accuse someone of stealing and they did, they'll be like, what? I didn't steal. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
This, that he takes the emotional affair part so seriously.
Yeah, I feel like
feels
he's like I won't do that, but I want to be really clear. It was not an emotional affair. That felt like that was the answer that he was giving.
So this happened on Thursday. He's been pretty cold since. Like, I don't think I've ever seen him act like this before. Yesterday, I was just cuddling with him, and he wasn't being soft like he normally is when we cuddle. And he told me he couldn't believe I called it an emotional affair and that he ended it, but he's hurt not only for him to be accused of an affair, but her too, who must think we're crazy. I was hurt, and our night kind of ended like that. Have I been the a-hole here? Have I been? And am I the reason our relationship has taken a hit? I'll fix it. Need a judgment. And we have some comments.
I honestly think you are a little bit the a-hole.
I think you're the a-hole, but you got to stand on business.
What?
Yeah. They could be
You
friends,
can't turn around. Yeah.
but like call them out.
yeah.
Be like, I don't really like you talking to this girl. Makes me feel uncomfortable.
Uh.
But I'm still your wife, and I'm still this hot piece of ass. And you need to jump on this right now because we're it.
Okay.
That's what I'd be doing. So, comment number 1. Seems like his only issue is that you've labeled their relationship as an emotional affair. Maybe if you had just explained it to him that the frequency and depth of their conversations made you feel insecure and that you'd like him to put some boundaries in place, he'd have taken it better.
Yeah.
He was open with you and was fine with your curiosity getting the better of you and reading the messages. I personally think that unless he's turning to her for his own deep emotional support instead of you, he's done nothing wrong.
I agree.
He should prefer to come to you with his issues, or at least you first, then others. If she isn't married herself, then I believe it's okay with her coming to him with her issues. She may not have anyone else, and that's what friends are for. Anecdote here. At my last workplace there was this woman my age who I got on well with, and after some time, we both talked to each other about our issues. I was single. Her relationship was fragile at the time. She came to me for support around her fragile relationship, and I gave her support. Fast forward now, that relationship is healed. They're married, and we are close friends. After my girlfriend and my best mate, she's the next person I talk to the most. She is attracted to the same gender. Now, if those 3 words just change your mind of my antidote, then that highlights the issues that you have: insecurity. If his workmate were a man, sapphic, or looked like the grumpy secretary out of Monsters Inc., which was my...
I'm watching you, Wazowski. Mike Wazowski.
Would you still been interested?
Yeah.
Would it still been an issue? Maybe.
I mean,
What?
hear me out.
She's thick.
I don't
Hear
want to
me
hear you
out.
guys out. I don't want to hear you guys out. I was gonna say I think that's an excellent point, and I think it just highlights the idea that men and women can't be friends, which is untrue.
I think in the future you should work on an insecurity with your husband first. Then if it's still an issue for you, that's when your husband needs to be husband and put you first, even if he hasn't done anything wrong. We have an update. So I can't blame her for how she went about this. Well, okay,
I can blame her.
we can blame her,
Yeah,
but the damage is already done.
it's true.
Where do we go now?
I think it's just have a sit down, say I'm sorry for accusing you with literally no proof. Shouldn't have done that. I was dealing with my own insecurities about this relationship. I realized that you made a sacrifice and ended that friendship. I would like to work on like why I'm having these feelings, you know, how we approach friendships and stuff in the future, and have that whole honest conversation.
And tell him that you love him
Yeah.
very much. Update. Thanks for the feedback. Even, maybe especially, those who said I was in the wrong. Last night when we were watching TV, his responses to me were still standoffish, which honestly was messing with me even more than the actual text and lunches. So I brought it up to him. I asked him if he was angry at me still due to our conversation a week ago. He said no. It's fine, but I still apologized to him. I said using the phrase emotional affair was too much. I said it without realizing what it truly meant, that I couldn't ever imagine him being unfaithful and hurting me and our daughter that way. And I didn't say this to him, but I'm not trying to make excuses. Now that we have our daughter, I think I just thought whatever he had with his workplace friend had the potential of messing with the life and family that we have now. So I might have said more than I should have. We made up in the moment with kisses and watching TV.
Kiss.
Okay, so that
Seems
one
like, yeah, seems good.
seemed like a one-way conversation, though.
I think that they could definitely keep talking about it. It seemed a little bit short, but it seems like it's a start. I do want to like commend them for having a little bit of a conversation.
But bro needs to speak up.
Yeah, because like the fact that he said like, oh no, I'm not still upset. Clearly you're still upset, and that's okay because you were wrongfully accused of something.
Your words say that, but your body language does not.
Yeah, we gotta be honest and open with each other.
So I also said that I appreciated how quickly he dropped everything with her despite any misgivings he may have had about what I was asking of him. He said no problem and that he was glad he could be normal with her in less than a week, and she wouldn't be too weirded out by all of it. I felt uncomfortable by that and framed it in the way a lot of commenters had suggested I frame it. I told him I was uncomfortable with how quickly and deeply his friendship with a single girl who was supposed to not even have been good friends with him had strengthened.
It's kind of how friendships go, though, you know? They just shift. Especially when you're, like, in close like the working or school.
Proximity.
Like, yeah, the proximity.
Again, he brought up trust, that she was his college friend and all. I said I trust him. Just tone it down. I want my daughter and me to be his priority, not some random girl. I kind of broke down a little bit at this point. I know some comments had called me emotionally harmful, but I swear this wasn't something I had planned. I asked him just to not have her be a strong presence, and he said he would tone it down, that he'd keep the friendship to the way it was initially. I'm glad I cleared out the emotional affair part out of it. I didn't have to accuse him of it, and it really wasn't. I crossed the line there, and I want to clarify, I'm okay with him having some women as friends. One of his closest friends is a girl, but again, she doesn't get the same frequency of communication his coworkers get, especially when the work hours are factored in. Okay, so she isn't isolating him.
I don't know. It feels like she's apologizing and yet still accusing him, you know? Like, he's already cut her off. It seems like they're kind of going back on that and letting him have a little contact, but it seems like he has not once, you know, made her a priority over you guys. So it feels a little bit, it doesn't feel great that OP is kind of taking back her apology and being like, well, yeah, I'm sorry I said you were having an emotional affair, but also can't believe that you're doing this, you know?
Anyway, we made up after all that.
Anyway, we made out.
I wish they did. They did. Or wait.
Whoa.
That didn't exist. Anyway, we made up after all that. And hopefully we're back on the way we were before all this. Thanks a lot. We have a second update.
I don't feel like you have made up. Feels like
You
you just
probably
keep,
have.
Yeah, it feels like OP's like, yep, everything's literally every time we've had some sort of update, OP's like, yep, everything's fine. Oh, he's still upset. Yep, everything's fine. We talked about it. Oh, he's still upset. Oh, but we talked about it. Everything's fine. It's like you guys are talking about like one little drop in the ocean of this problem.
Yeah.
Every time.
It feels very like Band-Aid on a compound
Yes.
fracture type deal.
Yeah, and you just keep creating more problems every time you talk about it.
I haven't heard a single stance from him at all. The only stance that he's taken, it's not an emotional affair. Yeah. That's it. I mean, I still don't know how he feels about it.
No clue. I don't know if he's upset with you. I don't know if he wants to be this girl's friend. Don't know nothing.
Yeah, should ask about his feelings. Second update. First of all, I may have been rude in lashing out in the comments on my last post for not having said all that stuff in my first post. It was honestly my fault to have taken advice on this issue based on anonymous comments, rather than going to someone I trust, even if that meant I'm telling them about my marital issues, which is something I'd always been taught to avoid. I decided that while I wouldn't invalidate my feelings, I wouldn't bring it up again unless I felt uncomfortable again, and just trust my husband to handle it. Over the past few days, I didn't have any reason to bring it up again. The frequency really has decreased. And in fact, he was the one who brought it up when his phone had pinged. I brought it to him and saw it was her texting him. I wasn't going to bring it up again because the texts had become few and far in between. But he started the topic and said that he had toned down their closeness for me. You should never, ever, ever tone down your closeness to us. Because you can go to your favorite podcast platform, search up OK Storytime on Apple, iHeartRadio, or Spotify, and be cuddled up with us while we read you little stories.
Cuddle up.
We got a little bit left here.
I honestly feel like it hasn't fully been resolved. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
It feels like OP still thinks that she's in the right here, which is bothersome to me. Like, it still feels like she's like, yeah, and I told him that I was uncomfortable and he fixed the problem. It's like, no, but your insecurity is the problem here, and the fact that you accused your husband of having an emotional affair and you haven't really heard his side of the story. Or really, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like, unless she might not have gone in depth about how she apologized. We don't really know. So maybe she did, but it felt like it was glossed over, or his feelings were glossed over.
She's just getting her stuff out. He's not really getting his stuff out.
That's what it feels like to me.
So OP continues, I thanked him and said it was good of her to be understanding too. He said he just told her it was all good and it was a misunderstanding, but he just reduced the frequency of contact on his own side for me because he knew her that she'd feel terrible about having caused issues and why punish her for our issues. And she is his coworker and acquaintance, so I get his POV. That's why make it messy. But I'm happy with where we are now. As difficult as this may have been, and I'm glad he was able to move past me using the phrase emotional affair 2. And that's all we got.
My father is in love with a girl half his age.
He's got to bump his numbers up.
I, male 17, live with my mom, 46, and my brother, 13, and my dad, 50. My relationship with my dad has always been rocky, and he's let me down many times before, but this time feels like the final straw. By the way, this comes from Legitimate Process 90, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
I'm Dakota.
And OP says, last Wednesday, he told us completely out of the blue that he asked my mom for a divorce because he wasn't in love with her anymore and he had feelings for his 21-year-old coworker, Rebecca. For context, she just turned 21. I was furious.
Well, he did the right thing in asking for a divorce first.
At least there's that. At least he's got that. At least he's not... Well, we actually don't really know if he's not a cheater.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Dang, Rebecca, girl.
He's old enough to know not to cheat.
Yeah.
But not old enough to know
How old he's
21
supposed
is
to date.
way too young.
It's half your age plus 7, everyone.
My parents have been together since 2003. Their relationship has had issues, but this was still shocking. What made it even weirder was how impulsive and unlike him it was. He left the house the next day after non-stop fighting, packed his stuff into our car, and went to sleep in a parking lot. The car and the house are both in my mom's name, and he only had $18 in his personal bank account when he left. Then the next morning, he suddenly came back saying he felt like he was in a trance, that the fog had lifted, and that he had made a huge mistake. Bummer. Did maybe the 21-year-old realize that dating a 50-year-old man who has less money than how old she is was a mistake?
There we go. I knew you were going to mention the money part.
Yeah.
See, if he had a lot more money, it would have been totally fine.
He begged for another chance. My mom thinks he was genuinely delusional and believes it may be tied to his health.
Oh, then you better go take him to a doctor and prove him wrong.
He had a severe case of West Nile virus in 2021 that caused lasting neurological issues and personality changes. Yeah, look into that.
We gotta start looking into the West Nile virus.
She is choosing to forgive him and is letting him stay. I don't buy it. I think he only came crawling back because the fantasy he built in his head wasn't actually going to work. My mom is the sole breadwinner and has supported us our entire lives. My dad has a part-time job as a pizza delivery man. However, his money is only used for his stuff, cigs, gas, etc. I think he realized he blew up his entire life for a girl half his age who didn't actually want him. And now he's trying to do damage control. Yeah, I think that's probably the more likely than the West Nile virus.
Yeah.
He's been trying to talk to me, apologizing, saying he loves me and wants to fix things. I'm ignoring him completely. I feel guilty sometimes, but I can tell it hurts him. But I honestly don't think I can forgive him. Yeah, I mean, at least not this year.
Yeah, no.
At least give yourself a minute. This situation is just the most recent in a long pattern of disappointment and selfishness. My mom respects my decision, but she clearly hopes I'll try to work on my relationship with him again. I'm not interested. I still live at home for another year before college, so I'm just planning on avoiding him completely. Am I the a-hole for refusing to give my dad another chance, even though he might have been mentally unwell when he made that decision?
Well,
I don't really believe that he was.
there is a lot of straws that will break the camel's back. In this case, he put a ton of bricks on the camel's back, and that's what broke your relationship.
Yeah,
on top
not
of
your
all the other
fault.
bricks.
You're
so.
17. Your dad cheated on your mom, at least emotionally, said he was leaving, told all of you that he was leaving to go chase this 21-year-old, and then comes back and expects you to just be fine with it?
Yeah.
Like, of course you're not going to be fine with it.
You know, I don't even think he was emotionally cheating. I think he put this all in his head.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't even like, well, at least he was emotionally invested in this girl who may or may not have had emotions for him.
What do you call that? Preemptive
One-sided?
cheating. That's what was happening here.
Comment 1. The 21-year-old probably didn't want him, so he blamed his actions on a trance. Your mom must be really gullible if she believes that story. I'd ignore him too. Comment 2 says, trust is a fragile thing. Once destroyed, it is almost impossible to get it back. Your father thinks he can just walk back in and have everything the way it was, and that isn't gonna happen anytime soon. Don't punt yourself. You're not to blame for what happened, and you are under no obligation to forgive and forget. That said, I do think your father's bizarre behavior is due to some health issue. He obviously needs to be seen by a doctor. OP says he has stated he is going to see a new therapist and psychiatrist. He already sees multiple doctors often, as he has a slew of health problems, including a neurologist for the lasting effects of West Nile virus. Comment 3 says, not the a-hole. When someone hurts you, forgiveness is given on your terms, not theirs. That is if you choose to forgive them at all. Remember one thing through all of this: there is nothing wrong if you change your mind about forgiving your father. There's nothing wrong if you don't. Either way, there's no timeline you have to adhere to. Comment 4 says, no 21-year-old is effing a 50-year-old unless he's got money. Everyone knows this. Broke boy is delusional. Your mom's a doormat for letting him back in. Tell her she can do better. A part-time pizza delivery driver that doesn't contribute anything to the household? Seriously? Dude acts like he's another teenager for her to mother. Why is she putting up with any of this in the first place? It would be cheaper if she didn't have him to feed as well, and it's not like she needs childcare for the kids anymore either. You're all teen. What a useless effing loser he is. And there is an update, but dang, that commenter read him.
So wait, was he he'd never had like a real job? Was he just doing that? Or
that
was
is
that after
unclear.
the West Nile virus?
Well, if
It's unclear.
Yeah.
We didn't get his prior job.
I'm assuming he didn't have a job if he only had $20 in his bank account.
Fast forward to my birthday trip. About 2 weeks after the initial situation, we were going to the beach with me, my mom, my brother, and my best friend. My dad was staying home because we have a lot of animals, and it was easier for him to just stay than to pay for them to all be watched.
Yeah, so the 21-year-old could also pet the pets too.
Yikes. I was actually really looking forward to it because it felt like the first time I get a break from all the chaos with my dad. Then my dad decides to drive 7 hours to our Airbnb as some kind of grand gesture. Can you drive 7 hours right back home?
Did he bring a zoo with him?
My mom claims she didn't know he was coming until he called her, well, already 3 hours into the drive, but I don't really buy that. Plan was apparently for him to stay the night, and she had already paid for an extra spot so he could come with us on the boat tour and dinner, so it's hard for me to believe that she had no idea. Here's the punter. She wasn't even planning on telling me. She literally wanted it to be a surprise that he just walked in the door. The only reason I knew was because she brought it up to my best friend, I'll call her Jane, that morning. Mom says she asked Jane if she should tell me, and Jane told her no. But Jane straight up told me all she asked was if she thought I'd be upset, and she said yes. Later on, while we were out, Jane told me what was happening anyway, and that my dad was about an hour away. My mom got pissed at her for telling me. Why are you putting this on OP's other 17-year-old friend? That's very weird. Let's not involve other children into your marital issues. Weird.
I didn't even think of
When
that.
I found out, I was devastated. I had explicitly said I was excited to get away from him this trip, and instead it turned into this whole thing. My mom was mad at me for being upset and kept saying things like, "It's still your dad. You'll have to get over it eventually. And he's trying to show he cares." She even tried to spin it like maybe he was doing it for her to prove he cared about fixing their marriage by showing up for us.
Okay, he was showing up for you guys by taking care of the pets.
Girl, it just feels like OP's mom is like really delusional, which is fair because she's had this relationship, for, if this is if this is modern day, it's been like over 20 years of marriage.
Yeah. She's probably
which
very
is really
codependent
tough.
too. Can't see a life without him, so that's why she's giving him another chance.
Yeah, like it's not like she's financially dependent, so like it seems like it probably would be emotional dependent
Ugh.
or dependence. She kept saying, "Well, I feel happy he did it." And I just felt like screaming because this was my birthday, not hers. My mom said he was coming to give me a birthday card, so I was expecting a long, thoughtful written card. He drove 7 hours to hand me a card with 2 sentences in it. "Sorry for what I did. I'll make it up to you."
At least he acknowledged it.
Yikes.
Sometimes men are a few words, but great with action.
Yeah, I don't think we've really seen either of those from him. That's it. After all that, he stayed for maybe a few minutes, then turned right around and drove all the way back home because I was so upset. There also wasn't even enough room in the Airbnb for him to stay, so they didn't think that through.
Oh, wow.
By the way, you guys should think through listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. And once you've thought it through, realize that you should do it.
Best thing you could ever do for yourself.
I agree. There is a little bit left, but do you have any final thoughts?
This guy's losing it.
He's losing it.
Another crazy thing to do is to drive 7 hours, stay for a
Yeah.
couple of minutes, and then drive another
And
7
then
hours.
leave. You're not gonna get like a, I don't know, some. This
hot
man
dog?
only knows how. Well, just like a motel. Not
We
gonna
can't.
figure it out.
I'm surprised he had enough money to get
He doesn't have
gas to
any
get
money.
down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Oh my
Your dad
gosh.
sucks. Your mom sucks for enabling your dad.
And I
And
would
you
also
just
like
have
to
your
see.
birthday.
Yeah, dude, that too. And also, I would like to see the parents' financial situation.
Yeah, I wonder. But there's a little bit left. This was mid-July. I've gone back to talking to my dad normally, but only to keep the peace. I don't want to, but if I start ignoring him again, it'll set my mom off, and I don't have the energy for more fights. So I'm just stuck pretending everything's fine when it's not. It's exhausting to constantly have my boundaries pushed aside, and I genuinely don't get how they think that's supposed to make me forgive him. My parents' relationship seems to be better. I'm only viewing it from the outside, but they've been going on dates, been more touchy-feely, spending more time together. If they really did fix things permanently, I'm happy for them. My mom deserves to be happy. However, I feel that him changing his behavior doesn't erase the things he did in the past. I don't feel like I want a close relationship with him ever, even if he's changed. Am I in the wrong to not move on and forgive, even if he has truly changed? Comments. Comment 1. Why do people think that when a parent and a spouse leaves a marriage, they don't leave the child? The mom has never considered that the father walked out on the child's family as well, not just the mom. To be with the 21-year-old person who's probably closer to the child's age than to the mother's age. I know we'd like to tell our young children that no, when mom and dad split up, dad didn't leave you, but the fact is that dad left the family unit, which included the child, so not the a-hole. OP says, yes, she's 4 years older than me and would have been a senior when I was a freshman. So in theory, she could have been my peer.
Oh,
Yucky,
man.
yucky. Yeah, no, you're not the a-hole at all, OP. That's just a terrible situation that your dad has put you in, and now your parents are trying to act like you're the problem when they're creating all these problems and expecting you to be, perfect, mature person when they're not acting like adults.
Really weird.
But that's the end of that story.